Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Uncensored with Sevyn K. I am Sevyn K, a relationship, life, and manifestation coach, combining the teachings of all three to bring you the love, life, and success you so much want, need, and desire. First and foremost, thank you to all existing and new subscribers. Anyone that's a passerby leaving phenomenal comments and viewers, just wanted to give you flowers and a big thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me grow this channel and this beautiful community. Also want to remind you guys that I am human. I still have a full-time career. I am a single mom putting my daughter through college. You know, I'm someone's daughter, friend, cousin. I attend church every Sunday, and I'm seeing a lot of negative comments. People saying I'm a scam artist because I don't care about my subscribers, because I take a week or two off from uploading content. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, I created this channel and with your help building this community because of an agonizing, tormenting, painful breakup that I experienced many, many years ago. And I found purpose in this channel. So please know that I didn't create this channel to pay the bills. If YouTube eventually gets me to that point, what a blessing. And while I am manifesting to go full-time on YouTube and with coaching, I'm just not there yet. But I do still have to do my life experiences and different events and participate in the lives of other people as well, because all that gives me the beautiful content that I bring back to you guys. So please know that my content is free. It's on YouTube. You can watch it as often if you want. And if you hire me for coaching, that is always your choice. I always post the details of how to hire me for coaching, to add to the resources that you can use to help you through this tough time of breakup, heartbreak, and reconciliation, and possibly just wanting to learn to love and date again. But it is not mandatory that you hire me for coaching. While it's a beautiful, joyous experience for me, also know that what I charge in comparison to these YouTubers that are calling themselves coaches, they're charging hundreds and hundreds and hundreds by the hour. So please go check out my cost comparison to, because I want to make sure that if you choose to hire me as a coach, that no matter your income status, that you can afford me, because my goal is to help you. So the details are in the comments and in the description below. But I urge you to watch all of my content because it's free. It comes from the heart. And aside from my professional training to become a life and relationship coach, a lot of what I'm giving to you guys is from my soul, from my personal experiences, and from many of the people that I coach. So with that said, if you leave a negative comment, I will not respond. I will just delete it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get to this thing called obsession. So first and foremost, let's look at the meaning. Obsession is intrusive thoughts that are consistently and constantly intruding your mind. And I wanted to make this video because just 2 days ago, I had my third coaching session with a beautiful young lady. And I can tell that she was extremely obsessed with her ex, the DUMPER. And many of you are. And I think that I forgot that phase of the breakup, because I too went through that. The first year post my breakup, I was extremely, extremely obsessed with my ex and wanting to reconcile. And my second by second of my whole day, every day for almost a year, was consumed with him. And nothing I did, no one I spoke to, nowhere I went, no one around me, even my own beautiful, most amazing daughter, was not enough to fulfill me because of obsession over my ex, the DUMPER. So let's talk about a few reasons why obsession is born, especially after a breakup, and what can we do to start remedying getting out of this horrific cycle. So the brain is designed beautifully to protect us, and its sole mission is to keep us alive. And our brain is responsible for maintaining us in our most healthiest state. But unfortunately, a lot of what happens to our mind and our body is as a result of our brain trying to protect us. And oftentimes, those outcomes can be very harmful to us psychologically, physically and mentally. And it creates outside habits and obsession in order to bring fulfillment, happiness, and to regulate our body, and to regulate our hormones, and to regulate these crazy cocktails of hormones that begin to emerge depending on what you're experiencing. So when a person leaves you, you are left feeling not good enough, unattractive. You lose your confidence, your self-esteem. Many people become extremely depressed and they turn to alcohol, drugs, promiscuity, extreme spending, poor hygiene, poor nutrition, etc. And so with that said, your body feels the rejection and the loss. And our brain hates rejection and loss. And the reason it hates it is because when we lose something or someone that is very important to us, we have a surge of chemicals that begin to, flow through our body that affect our coronary and nervous system. So when people say heartbreak, it's because we feel the pain in our chest and our heart. We feel the pain in our bones and our muscles. It's a physical way of being, not just an emotional feeling. It's a physical feeling. And that is because of how your body is reacting to the stress, the anxiety of the loss of this person that you love. And so the brain now has acknowledged the loss, and now it goes into fight or flight mode, which is part of what your ego is also responsible for doing. So subconsciously or unconsciously, you begin to obsessively think of this person. And you begin to have arguments with them in your head or out loud while you're driving, showering, doing the dishes, on your way to pick up the kids, at the gym, doesn't matter. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, all you can think about is this person. And you're watching the clock and you're looking at your phone and you're constantly having these intrusive thoughts of them. Where are they? Who are they with? Why did they leave? Why didn't I say this? I should have said that. Why didn't I wear this that day? Why didn't I try this that day? Why would he or she say that to me? And this is a constant ongoing cycle. And so the moment that your brain figures out or creates a story or beliefs that once we get this person back, I can regulate the body. I can regulate these hormones. I can regulate, how the body is reacting to this experience, then we are good. And so now your brain is out and about forcing these thoughts that are causing you to feel the way you physically feel. And these thoughts become habit, which then fuels and nurtures the obsession. And this is all mental, because 99% of what's causing the obsession is a false reality. Because we begin to think that this person is a god. We begin to think that this person is the only remedy to fix this thing that's called misery and agony and loneliness and pain and torment, right? Which is not true. But that is the only way that the body and the brain is processing the loss, and therefore the obsession, therefore the consistent and constant intrusive thoughts. The brain hates loss and rejection. And oftentimes, when it experiences loss and rejection, it creates a puzzle that needs to be completed. And that puzzle is completed by that one piece that is so-called missing, and that is the dumper, your ex. So now your brain has convinced itself through you and developed these stories and beliefs that we need to get this person back in order for things to go back to normal, to feel familiar again, because we have lost something that we need back. And you go into flight or fight mode. And 99% of you guys, and by me being familiar with this, you go into fight mode. And therefore you obsessively go onto their social media. You may begin showing up to where they are, talking to their friends and family, obsessively talking about them to your friends and family, obsessively talking to them to your children, your 2-year-old, your dog, the bird, outside strangers, doesn't matter. It's an obsessive way of being. So not only are you constantly having thoughts of them, arguing with them, creating these scenarios, role-playing these scenarios in your mind, you're also obsessively talking about them. You're also obsessively intruding into what they're doing in their personal life. With all things being said, that is how you continue to nurture the obsession. Because the thing about obsession as well is that you have had your ego severely bruised and damaged by the person saying, I'm not happy here. You don't fulfill me. It's not you, it's just me. Perhaps they left for someone else. All of these things deplete your confidence, your self-esteem, your happiness, your peace of mind. It changes the very fabric of you being able to just wake up and go about your normal day. And so once again, this is damaging to your body physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, nutritionally. You begin to lose sleep. You begin to eat poorly or not eat at all. You begin to eat excessively. You begin to turn to other things to cope with the emotions and the pain of the breakup. And your body is reacting. And your brain's job to keep you alive is responding and realizing all of these effects. And so the more that you go through this physically, the more your brain will force these thoughts, because it's in fight mode, to go get the very person or thing that's going to cure all of that you're going through and what your body is experiencing. So you have a cocktail of chemicals such as cortisol, dopamine, oxytocin that are going up and down, causing ravage in your body. And this is not something that is absolutely not helpful. It's absolutely very harmful. And so your body wants to regulate, and your brain controls the regulation. And so obsession is a way that your body is reacting to your brain's ability to force you to go get the thing, person, place that's going to fix all that's happening to you. Okay? And so unconsciously and subconsciously, again, we fall into the cycle. The constant thoughts, the constant stalking, the excessive texting, the crying. And so these are all the things, ladies and gentlemen, that are feeding the obsession. Obsession is also born from the thought that you want something or someone that you cannot have. When we find ourselves wanting something or wanting someone that feels 100% out of our reach, we begin to become obsessed. And your brain finds a signal, a sign, no matter where you are, to remind you to keep focus on that person, place, or thing that you have convinced yourself that you cannot have. So if you ever thought about a person that has romantically advanced you, that you have no interest in, that person becomes obsessed with wanting you because they want to conquer you, because they feel invalidated. And so it is a normal human reaction to want something extremely bad that we cannot have or that's rejecting us, right? But unfortunately, when it comes to romantic attachments, it becomes very extreme and magnifying. And so another occurrence that breeds and allows obsession to be born and fed is we unconsciously put our ex or the dumper on a godlike status. And with that comes a phenomenon called the halo effect. And what the halo effect is we somehow cannot identify anything negative with this person or this experience, despite how annoying they may have been, despite what wrong they may have done, despite anything they've ever done to hurt you or disrespect you. We are not able to identify that. The halo effect occurs more often than not post a breakup to the dumpy. And when you combine that with obsession, now you are in a constant perpetual state of these intrusive thoughts. You've developed what I call turn twos, which are the habits that you've developed that are feeding the obsession. And now you have put this person on such a godlike pedestal because of the halo effect that you are stuck in a bubble that is causing you mental, physical, emotional, and psychological agony. And I remember going through this for an entire year and thinking, I'd rather die than go through this for the rest of my life, because I didn't know what to do to get out of the trap and out of the cycle. I was absolutely feeling tortured. And so over time, I started to realize that the challenge was humanizing my ex again, bringing them back to planet Earth, and reminding myself that I wanted his validation. I wanted him to tell me I was always good enough. I wanted him to accept me. I wanted him to change his mind about me. And when I finally figured out that that was the root cause of my obsession, then I was able to begin working on getting the obsession to be gone, getting rid of the obsession. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in many occasions, it's going to take more than just realization and a light bulb moment, because obsession develops habits and habits develop turn-tos. Now, you must consider seeking out outside resources, therapists, psychologists, nutritionists, trainers, because your nutrition, your sleeping patterns, your physical health have all been affected if you have fallen into a deep cycle of obsession. And one of the most tragic and worst things that I have seen and has occurred to many people that are extremely obsessed, beyond the poor nutrition, the poor sleeping, the inability to socialize because you feel like nothing or anywhere you go can fulfill you, is extreme sadness, extreme depression, leading up to suicide. So, ladies and gentlemen, do not take obsession as a joke. Many exes have even been so obsessed that they have caused physical harm and have even killed their ex. And you never want to go to the extreme of any of that because of your inability to make a choice to get help and work on this obsession. Obsession can be fixed. All that we obsess about are stories, false realities that we are living into that are not true. Putting your ex and the dumper on a pedestal and making them godlike and having the story replay in your mind that the only person that I can laugh again with and be happy with, that can bring me happiness, that can allow me to feel pretty or handsome or worthy or valuable is my ex, is false. It is not true. That is a story that is created in an effort to go into fight mode in order to be able to do whatever action necessary to get your ex back. This is where your brain begins to play tricks on you. This is where the obsession is born. And now you're feeding and nurturing and adding fuel to this obsession, which can grow into very harmful, unhealthy, dangerous places. So you want to immediately assess where you are and begin working on unraveling these false realities and stories and change and reprogram your habits and thoughts and physical actions that are going to reverse the obsession so that you then can become a version of you that's happy, has peace of mind, feels confident, has self-esteem, is productive, is healthy, and can turn the tables and allow your ex to then start feeling those emotions for you. Obsession is not healthy, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care what or who it's for. You never want to depend on anyone or anything to validate your value, your beauty, your status, your productivity, your contribution. You need to be the source of all those things. You have to be able to use all of your inner faculties to tell yourself, to know, to feel, to believe, to posture yourself as I am beautiful, I am handsome, I am an amazing catch, I am a contributor, I am always chosen and loved, I am always a person that is looked at as an amazing person to be with. And even if you want this person back, they do not have to be on a pedestal. You do not have to see them in a godlike state. You do not have to belittle yourself and stay in a dark place for any human being on this planet. So the other thing that you want to consider about obsession, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you don't begin to work on it now, as you realize that you're in this cycle, it will only get worse. And if you have loved ones around you, children, your parents, your friends, your family, people you fellowship with, they will also feel the effects of your obsession. And you will burn bridges and lose relationships because you will be no more good. So let's get going now on how to begin working on getting rid of the obsession. So first and foremost, we want to humanize this person. Create a list of all of the things that affected you, annoyed you about your ex, about the dumper. See, the reason we obsess and we see celebrities in a majestic like state is because they don't feel at reach to us. We only see them on the movie screen, we hear them on a radio, we see them on TV. But if we strip them of their money and fame and threw them in a Walmart, at a register, they're human, just like us. They're human, just like us. They just do something different that earns them a different caliber of money. Kim Kardashian cries, shits, shaves, and showers, feels sadness, smells, has bad breath, great days, bad days, just like you. Brad Pitt shits, shaves, showers, farts, has bad breath, bad emotions, curses, has great and bad moments, just like you. So pick your favorite celebrity. They stress, they cry, they go into all different sorts of states in their life, just like you. And so you're giving a celebrity-like state to your ex, and this is what's causing them to be on a pedestal. This is what's causing the halo effect. So let's undo the halo effect. Let's take away their celebrity status in our brain. And let's regulate seeing them as just a normal freaking human being. So write a list of all the things that turned you off about your ex while you were with them. Maybe they were financially irresponsible. Maybe they drank too much. Maybe they had poor hygiene. Maybe they cursed a lot. Maybe they snored a lot. Maybe they farted a lot. Maybe they were a poor communicator. Maybe it was all of the above. But write down all the things that annoyed you about them and repeatedly read this list. And it's not for you to get turned off and not want them back. It's for you to realize that the person that you've put on a godlike state that's constantly causing you to think about them from the moment you wake up throughout your day until the moment you go to bed, and is diminishing your ability, debilitating your ability to feel fulfillment and happiness within yourself and with your environment, with your children, with your friends, with your family, is just another human being that not every woman or man wants, like you. You see them the way you see them because they're rejecting you, because they left. But once you understand that they are just another human being just like you, we can begin to humanize them and bring them off this pedestal and put ourselves on a pedestal. So write your list down. What are all the things that annoyed you, that were a turnoff, that were despicable? And I want this list to be honest and real, and attempt your best, ladies and gentlemen, to write this list down away from your obsession, away from your want and lack of them and missing them. Just write realistically your list down and begin to read this list over and over and over and over. Because once you start to realize that they're just human, then you can start to see them for who they really are, not for who your brain is creating them to be, which is causing the obsession. The second technique that I want you to use is to give in to the emotions. Ladies and gentlemen, resistance is a problem. When we resist something, it grows. It can overflow. And so many of you are obsessing because you're not giving in to the emotions. When you feel you miss your ex, when you feel lonely, when you feel isolated, I want you to vent those emotions. Cry it out, scream it out, but only give yourself a moment of time, be it 5 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, to let those emotions out, and assign yourself a new turn to at the end of that venting moment, which means if I am going to cry and scream for 15 minutes, I now have to turn to an immediate distraction. Because through obsession creates habits, and your habits are turn-tos. This is why people turn to alcohol, excessive eating, drugs, promiscuity. Did I say that right? Yeah, promiscuous. Yes. Excessive shopping. Because these are turn-tos. When you feel an emotion, be it happiness, sadness, frustration, or anger, you've developed a turn-to. That turn-to creates a false fulfillment. And because that fulfillment is so come and go, you then continue that turn-to. This is how people become drug addicts, alcoholics, sex addicts, shopping addicts. They obsessively gamble. These are called turn-tos. These turn-tos are what the brain resorts to when your body and your brain feel an emotion. And so your emotions of sadness, frustration, anxiety, confusion have caused turn-tos. Now we need to reprogram our brain to a new turn-to. So if you have cried for 5 minutes and that is your time you've allotted yourself, what is your new turn-to? Please make sure, without exception, that your turn-to is a healthy turn-to. My turn-to became walking. I began to walk miles and miles and miles and miles a day. And while I walked, I touched the trees. I planted my feet in grass. I said hello to strangers. I sucked in the oxygen, the fresh air. And sooner than later, within a few days to a few weeks, every time I felt the loss of my ex, where was he? What was he doing? I gave in to those emotions for a few minutes, and then my brain began to say, we have to go take a walk. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I then became obsessed with walking, and not such a bad obsession to have. That obsession then turned into an obsession with good nutrition and the gym. And so my point to you is, you want to give in to the emotions. Do not resist. Anyone that tells you hide from your emotions, especially men, do not resist. Allot yourself a specific amount of time to cry, to scream, to let it out, whether you have to journal it, cry, scream, yell, or maybe you have an accountability partner, a friend, a family member, an older child that has assigned themselves to you as the person you call when you are feeling extreme anxiety and need to vent your emotions. But do not sit in these emotions. So if you're giving yourself 5 minutes, that is all you get. And immediately go to your new distraction and turn to. Please make sure it's healthy. Assign yourself a turn to at work. Assign yourself a couple of turn-tos while you're at home, especially if you have children. If you're a single person now with no children, assign yourself some healthy turn-tos. Walking, the gym, maybe a great series, writing, playing music, reading, yoga, meditation. It doesn't matter. Your new turn-tos have to be an alternative option that keeps you distracted from these distractive thoughts, intrusive thoughts that are preoccupying your every moment of the day. The next thing that you want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is, and maybe this should have been number one, is stay in no contact. And when I mean no contact, I mean detox from social media, especially them. Do not show up to where they hang out, where they work out. Do not talk to their friends and family about them. Do not talk to their friends and family about wanting to get back with them where they are. Do not talk to your friends and family about this person. You want to give in to your emotions during the moments before you go to your turn-tos. However, the more that you consistently engage in wanting them back, the more you're going to become obsessed. What we're working on is getting out of the obsession so that you can become a healthy person, because when they come back, if you don't work on this obsession, you will become a disturbing mess to them and they will leave you again. So you must, absolutely must work on this obsession. Stay in no contact. Give space to yourself to change your programming, your perspectives, this godlike state that you have put them on so that you can start to become healthy again. You should have enlisted or enrolled a therapist, a psychologist, a nutritionist, anyone or anything that's going to help you become better and healthier and get you out of this preoccupation of just thinking and wanting them 24 hours a day. So you want to begin exercising no contact, no exceptions. There's a great app called Silenzio. It's a free app by another YouTuber. It has a really great feature where it has a start time and a panic button. If you decide you want to break no contact, you can pre-program your own messages as to why breaking no contact is a horrible idea. It's a free no contact app. I use it still to give to or recommend it to my coaching clients, and I'm recommending it to you. So kudos to that YouTuber. On her channel is called The Art of Love. I love her. She actually helped me very much throughout my breakup. All right, the next thing that you guys want to do during this obsession phase is pray. If you have a connection spiritually to a higher being, meaning that you believe in a higher being, then pray, ladies and gentlemen, because prayer brings a lot of peace to your nervous system. And if you combine it with meditation, it actually starts to regulate intrusive thoughts and preoccupation mentally. So I absolutely recommend taking as much time as you can throughout your day to meditate and pray. It's a lot of wonderful YouTube videos on how to properly meditate for beginners, intermediate, and advanced people that meditate. And it's a phenomenal way of calming the brain down, reprogramming beliefs and stories and false constant thoughts that we're feeding ourselves that are nurturing and feeding and fueling obsession. And this is a really great way to also develop a spiritual connection that allows you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that you do not need anyone to validate you, that you don't need anyone to tell you that you are handsome, that you're beautiful, that you're a great catch, that you are always chosen, that you're a great contributor, that you are an amazing person, because that is your responsibility alone to feel this way for yourself. And anyone that comes into your life that can add to that is a beautiful thing. It's an accessory to your life. But you must understand that people always come and go. And if you leave yourself to be dependent on persons, places, or things to validate you, to give you value, to tell you that you're good looking, to tell you that you're worth it, then every time that thing, person, or place walks away or leaves, you'll be left with nothing, a fragile portion of yourself. You've got to become self and interdependent on being able to validate and love you. Self-care, self-love, take care of you. And the reason that you are so obsessed with this person is because they've left you feeling rejected, unwanted, not good enough. You're depleted of your self-esteem and your confidence. And you've been made to believe that this is who you are now. And all of this is false. It's not true. So by praying and meditating, it's actually reconnecting you to your spiritual higher being and to a spiritual higher being who then will actually help bring fulfillment and value to your life and allow you to start practicing self-care and self-love, which is the next step in getting rid of obsession. We oftentimes neglect ourselves severely during this phase of heartbreak and obsession. And so you neglect yourself nutritionally, aesthetically, physically, financially. Your productivity goes down. Your social life is no more. And you start indulging into habits that are very poor for you, harmful for you, can even be deadly for you. So you want to start practicing self-love and self-care. And that begins with medical attention, mental health attention. We don't want to neglect those things. So you want to start taking care of yourself in a way where you can see a physical primary care physician. Make sure that your body, your blood pressure, all of these things in your body are functioning properly. And if you have existing health conditions, that you are on the proper medication and the right routine. And if you are a healthy person but otherwise have turned to poor habits, maybe you started drinking, maybe you started smoking or using drugs or vaping, you want to undo these poor habits and get help for that and start practicing great nutrition and start getting physically active, even if it's just walking 30 minutes a day. You want to start listening to positive videos and positive messages of affirmation that are going to add quality to your life. So you want to make sure that you practice taking care of your skin aesthetically, that you're taking care of your nails and your hair and your teeth and your hygiene, because all of these things are going to improve the quality of your confidence and self-esteem and start to allow you to love yourself again and revalue your own self within your own faculties without the dependency of your ex having to be the cure. You want to practice self-love and self-care. So you also want to finally, to get rid of obsession, is redevelop a great social life. You've got to get busy being active, distracted, and busy, because the unfortunate part of obsession is that we isolate ourselves. We find too much time to indulge in these crazy thoughts all day long in a way where we no longer want to be around people because it feels like nothing and no one makes us happy. So you've got to force yourself to get social again. There's a wonderful app called meetups.com. It gives you all sorts of categories that allows you to participate in different activities. Maybe you love sewing, knitting, dancing, poetry, cooking, game nights, going out with the dog. There's all sorts of categories of people in your town that are joining together from all different age groups, cultures, creeds, and backgrounds that are getting together to participate in these amazing activities that you too can be a part of. You've got to reconnect with your friends, your family. You've got to start spending time with your children. And as you start to practice all these techniques, you will slowly start to emerge out of this torment and cocoon called obsession. As you begin to create new turn tools that are going to reprogram you, then now these turn tools create beautifully new healthy habits. And over time, as you're consistent, which is key, in seeing your therapist, in getting coaching, and practicing good nutrition, and getting good sleep, and giving into your emotions, and journaling, and resocializing, and taking care of your body, your aesthetics, reconnecting spiritually, you will start to get out of this obsession. When you rehumanize your ex and see them for who they are, a normal human being that not everyone is attracted to, that has horrible habits like everyone else, that does what normal human beings do, and you remove them from a godlike state, and you begin to love you and become independent of the necessity for outside validation, for other people, including your ex, to value you. When you can value yourself, when you can see value in a conversation with your friends, when you can value and see fulfillment and feel fulfillment and fellowshipping with people, when you can feel fulfillment, happiness, and peace in interacting with your children, when you see value in that new business opportunity or your job, when you see value in going to the gym or taking a walk or practicing meditation and yoga, when you feel happiness and fulfillment from consistently practicing all these activities, when you're constantly reading your lists about your ex, then and only then can you start to emerge out of this obsession, and you can come back to being you and a better version of you, a happier version of you. Because the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, that a breakup, despite how painful and agonizing it can be, it is a chin check for many of us, and it happens for us, and it forces us to see ourselves in the mirror and deal with a lot of the crap and the soot and the garbage that we haven't dealt with. Perhaps we weren't treating our body with respect and honor. Maybe we were overeating. Maybe we were not practicing good nutrition or aesthetic care or self-care or self-love. Maybe we were becoming financially irresponsible. Maybe we were losing ourselves into this thing called a relationship, and we were just becoming a fraction of who we could be. And so many times, a breakup, while it causes so much harm emotionally, mentally, financially, physically, and so on to us, is also a reality check. Hey, it's time to address the things that we've been ignoring. Hey, it's time to address how we've been treating ourselves. The lack of love, the lack of health, the lack of good thoughts, the lack of good friendships, the lack of reconnection. Where are these goals that you had many years ago that you let go of? Are you really treating your children with the utmost love and care and time and quality? Are you treating yourself with pure love, self-love, and care? Are you giving yourself the opportunity to really have great friendships and fellowship? Are you really in the most healthiest state of mind mentally, physically, and emotionally? Are your finances in great shape? Is your credit in great shape? Many times we don't notice this, but breakups force us to see all of this. And when we begin to obsess with a person, we want them to cure and remedy all the stuff that we got to clear up for ourselves, that we have to work on for ourselves. We got to humble ourselves and take a look at us and say it is time to get out of this horrific cycle and hire or bring in or sit with or talk to any resources available that are going to make us a 10.0 version of who that person left behind. And then and only then will you be amazing enough to yourself first and always foremost. And then obsession will start to be created in the X on the dumper for you. They will pine over you. They will chase you. They will notice you. They will hear about you. They will notice you again. They will miss you again. They will come back to you. And you want to make sure that when they come back, you are in the best state of mind, physical state, mental state, emotional state, and have a journey to share with them that's going to make them want to be back in your life and create or recreate an amazing, healthy relationship. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this helped. And if you need coaching, please feel free to email me. The descriptions are in the comments and in the description below. Remember that the power is yours, and on to the next video.